pleasure to have your company once again on The Form. We deep dive into the best races over the weekend, and we are back at Te Rapa and Riccarton domestically, and we've got the same team back from last week: Greg O'Connor, Bevan Sweeney, Leith Innes, to try and find you all of the winners. So let's start with what's coming up on the show. We kick things off at Te Rapa with the listed Waikato Equine Veterinary Centre Stakes, also having a look at the Open Mile. Then we head to Riccarton for their listed Champagne Stakes for the 2-year-olds. Our racetrack is as usual. We've got the Kiwis in Australia again, Stephen Marsh in the South Australian Derby, and across in Queensland for the Guineas. He also has a run of Tardelli there, and Andrew Campbell with a croupier in race number 1. So we'll touch on those, and then our best bets to round out the show. We focus in on Te Rapa first, and Leith, as I say hello to you. We've had a bit of bad weather around at the moment in the country, so what are we expecting on Saturday at Te Rapa?
Yeah, morning, Pip. Look, obviously the rail was out 3 metres last week. It comes out to about 6 metres, and the track played so good last week on a soft 5. Currently a soft 7. Certainly, look, there's going to be a couple of showers around, but in the Hamilton district, talked to Andrew Castles this morning, and he seems to think that, you know, come race morning, we maybe soft 5, soft 6. So it's going to be a good day's racing again.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the feature. Race number 6 on the program. You can see Lady Iris is the favourite at $3.50. No real movement apart from Windstorm, and $6.50 on that fourth line of betting. You do have Mazzino and Cashla Bay at around $5.50 currently. Speaking of the favourite, Lady Iris, let's take you back to her in their listed Starway Stakes. Looked like Bevan, she had this all sewn up, but she just wanted to do things wrong right before the winning post.
Yeah, she's got a bit of quality though, the filly by Yui's Navy Flag. I like the fact she jumps, she puts herself there. I think Little Black Dress has got so much upside as well, so I think this is really the race to be following. The price, well, I think it's around about the right mark. Kelly Myers picks up the ride on Saturday. She'll have to work a little bit late from the gate, but there's undoubted ability there and on the improve.
Yeah, it certainly is. Look, she was very green the last sort of 50 metres when she shied at the winning post, and no doubt I think she would have won the race if it wasn't for that. She probably would have lost it in the protest through her stablemate. So, look, she's one of those horses that's going to jump out, put herself on the speed. She's not very big. There is that small sort of question mark of the 1400 metres, though.
Yeah, looking forward to this race. Cashla Bay, the one that I'm really interested in, has a senior jockey in Vinnie Colgan on today or on Saturday, and looks very, very hard to beat. Strong hand in the race for Andrew Fours, and what I liked about this was her willingness to get to the line. I know it's a step up, but I think that she'll give this field plenty to think about, and right here, ears back, and Leith wanted to win.
Yeah, she was really good. She was taking on the older horses too that day at Matter. Obviously, she had to claim that day. She got down to a perfect weight of 51 kilos. So, look, she meets a lot stronger field this Saturday, but the 1400 metres should really suit her as well.
The horse that she was close up against, Costa, the start before, has got quite a bit of ability. So for Tara to be taking on those older horses like that, there's got to be a fair bit of ability. Engine of War adds interest. Was under the $5 marker at its debut at Waverley. This race taken out by Belzoni, but this is the 3-year-old. Look, he was under the pump before the corner, and you think we might even run last, but there's a lot of scope here from this particular horse. The 1400 metres will really put him in the sweet position here, Leith. And this is a real horse to follow, a black booker into next season.
Yeah, it certainly is. Obviously, he's been sold during the week to my racehorse as well. So there's a lot to like about the horse. Look, he was having his first start. He was going in there fresh without a trial. Look, my racehorse have bought into him this week, so it's a good ploy. They obviously bought Willie Do It, was the last horse they bought in New Zealand as well. Barrier
1 might be a little bit of a trap for a horse that looks still very green, but by Circus Maximus, it's a big week for Windsor Park. They've got their luncheon and their yearling sale at Riccarton, so it might be a very big week if this horse is able to win, but I really think Cashla Bay will be the hardest for it to beat at stablemate.
Yeah, I'm with Engine of War. I think he's great each way chance. He should really improve from that last first up run at Waverley, and the 1400 metres is the key to him. He's going to lap it up, and he's a great each way play this week.
I don't disagree at all. I'm going to go with Lady Iris. I think the filly by US Navy flag is on the right profile. It'll be very tough to beat, albeit I think we'll have to work across from a tougher draw than in the first couple of starts. But I think there's a lot of upside in the US Navy flag filly.
And of course, whatever you were liking, you can take the odd surge as well. As we move on to race number 7, this one, the Open Mile. It is the Prezi Card Mile, and currently Moss Invader is the favourite for the Wexford stable, $4.40 from Cannon Hill for Tony Pike. And they also have Uderzo in there, Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott on that third line of betting at $5. That's how the market's currently shaping up. Let's take you back firstly to the Easter handicap here, where a handful come out, Bevan, including Uderzo, who saved ground up the rail and then hit the line strong.
Yeah, I think this horse has to be ridden off tempo and given one late crack at them. I think that's clearly his best pattern of racing. He did this on this day in the Easter, and he made up a poultice of ground. The horse out wide was very, very good as well. In the Jamil Bloodstock colours. Look, he's going the right way. He will get back. He'll have to be good at Te Rapa to pick them up, but he's going the right way, Leith.
He is. He certainly is. Look, it was probably the run of the race, really, if you take Tardilli out. It was a really on-speed Easter where it was hard to make ground. He had to get back from his outside gate. Warren Kennedy on this week, he's had 5 rides on the horse for 2 wins as well.
Yeah, look, Section Lee was outstanding in the Easter. It's the one to follow out of it, but Cannon Hill is another you have to consider. Trained by Tony Pike, of course, has Craig Grills. A lot to like about this fresh up race from Cannon Hill, Leith, and an improved performance off the back of that you would expect, so therefore it's got a big part to play.
Yeah, obviously he was down to go to the Anzac Mile last week at Palmerston North. Look, his sectionals in the race were the fastest 4 in the 200 metres here, and look, Carmen Line sort of had race day fitness on his side as well. So, look, he's certainly got natural improvement, and he gets in with a beautiful weight of 56.5 as well.
He's been very progressive. We've seen quite a bit of him through the last 12 months, and that was a decent sort of fresh up effort. He does race really well fresh into his second up performance, so you'd expect improvement. But I was with Moss Invaded when he was down to be running in the Easter. He was taken out of that day. Runs as your favourite at this stage. In the race. I've always been a big fan of this horse. 1,600 metres, he'll get back with a little bit of tempo in this particular race. He's getting 3 kilos off down to the 55. I think he's a really dangerous Moss Invader.
Yeah, look, I'm Uder0. I think Warren Kennedy's back on. It's going to suit him. You're getting $6 on the odd surge, and he's going to be awfully hard, especially if there's a bit of speed in the race.
I'm with you, Leith. I know the horse doesn't win out of turn, but on that performance in the Easter last time, I'm with the O'Sullivan Scott trained runner, very big winning chance.
Now, that's what the guys are liking in the Open Mile. That does complete our look at Te Rapa. If you want to catch all of the action, we'll tune in to Big Saturday at 11:30 a.m. We head back down to Riccarton again this weekend, and Greg, as I say hi to you, boy, you are certainly getting some bad weather down there, so looks like probably running on that heavy again.
Yeah, look, over the last 24 hours, Wednesday to Thursday, Pip, we have had over 100 mils. Put that into perspective, the Harness Jewels about 5 years ago had about 65, 70 mils, and it was unbelievable how much water was lying around. It's going to be a big challenge because the week before, of course, leading into last week's meeting, we'd had about 50 mils. It is expected to be a lot finer, and the rain is expected to stop by Friday, but gee, it'll be testing. It will not be easy, particularly for the 2-year-olds.
No, absolutely not. And speaking of, let's take a look how that market is shaping up in the Berkeley Stud Champagne Stakes here. Over the 1,200 metres, Lucy in the Sky, the visitor for Tony Pike, favourite at $2.80. A lot of go at $5 for the moment at $8.50, along with Queen's Evidence, the other one sitting there in the market. Speaking of, a lot of go as a mover in this race already. We'll go back to the Welcome Stakes. Greg, a handful come out, but it was a very nice run from a lot of go up the rail. Yeah,
look, a really strong last couple of 100 metres, as it was from Queen's Evidence. They're the two to take out of this race. Of course, a lot of go trained by Lance Robinson, has Katie Hercock. Just gets slightly held up there, but once in the clear, really hits the line strongly. Plenty to like about both runs so far. Queen's Evidence wider out, making up good ground as well. But yeah, right about here gets very close to Zelia, who's been the star filly down here, so a lot to go. Wouldn't need to improve much to be very competitive in the Champagne.
Yeah, exactly, Greg. Look, his first up run was really good as well, and the way he's hitting the ground there, the line there, the 1,200 metres, it's going to be like 14 this week. So obviously there's a big question mark about the heavy track for him, but he's certainly a horse to watch going into this race.
Yeah, I caught up with some connections around this horse. They weren't 100% convinced they're going to run, but I think they're going to throw the dice on Saturday with him. I'm surprised he's still in the country, this horse. He's got a lot of upside into his 3-year-old season. He's got a frame on him. Bit of Australian breeding there out of Reduce Me. I think there's so much upside about him. I agree with Greg around Queen's Evidence. There is another form line coming to this race, and it's just whether it's going to stack up into this race at Riccarton, but it was on wet ground. So that will give us a little bit of a key about who will handle this and who won't. For the moment, it was too good here for Kelvin Tyler. This is a gelding by Prasia, so it's bred to be pretty good. But there's some nice runs in this race. 4 of us nicely into second, Elise Star into fourth. But will this form stack up is going to be the major question mark. They have it a run round in rain-affected ground, but it's nothing like this. It's going to be in a whole different world on Saturday, at least. So I'm not completely convinced, but Kelvin Tyler's a wonderful trainer.
Yeah, look, he was really tough. There was a second up run. He got taken on from the half mile. There was sort of the jockey outside. Nicola was cutting his throat. So for him to hold on and win like he did, it was a really good effort. Obviously, going into a listed race this week, Nicola Ewan, she keeps the ride. Obviously, it's a listed race, so there's no claims in the race. But he's got the right barrier 11, probably be winning on the outside fence as well.
It'll be a formula that you'll be using. Fit horses, many of them that came through the Riverton Carnival, trained by a very good horseman in Kelvin Tyler. Lucy in the Sky's an interesting runner, Leith, though. This is the trial, the latest trial. Of course, trained by Tony Pike. Flew down with the Windsor Park horses earlier in the week, so is definitely here. So that's the first tick. Love the last 100 metres here. Obviously won on debut. A lot to like about her. If she brings her A game, very hard to beat.
Yeah, this is the trial at Ruakaka. Obviously, it was a fair bit of rain happening at the stage as well. So she was been really great. She was first up, she won at Ellerslie. Second up, she was really good. By all accounts, she's travelled down to Riccarton really well. Just have that small question mark on the really heavy track she's going to get on Saturday.
Yeah, it is a massive question mark, but on the evidence of that, she might just get through it. Of course, she's going the other way around and going down the chute, which is always throwing a few little niggles into the mind, but you'd think under Jasmine it'll be ridden pretty positively from that gate, and then you can map your way into an outside position. Look, I'm going to stick with a lot of go. I've been with him the first 2 times. He's a big question mark on these track conditions, but gee, I think there's upside around him. He was on the soft 7 when he was very good behind Zelia at his debut, went green and held up. He improved into his next start. If he improves and handles the track condition, very tough to beat the 2-year-old by Tagaloa.
Yeah, I'm with you as well, Bevan. I've liked what I've seen. Both runs have been really good, full of merit. Look, his last run has sort of got warmed up the last 100 metres, so look, he strips fit, third up into this race. But yeah, that is that question mark on a heavy 10.
Yeah, I'll go with Lucy in the Sky. There's no way that Tony would have brought her down unless he thought she was bang on, and off the back of that trial, the evidence of that would suggest she is. If she cops the track, she'll be hard to beat.
Absolutely, she will be, Greg. And if you want to tune into that race underway at 1:33 this afternoon, or on Saturday afternoon, as we move on now to the Easter race at number 8 on the program, the Evans City Ford Easter Cup here over the mile. If I Did It at 4:40, favourite from Betty Spaghetti, Riviera Rebel and Too Much, all in the market. Let's go back to the Great Easter Stakes last weekend. Betty Spaghetti and Too Much, Greg, right down the outside. Betty Spaghetti gets the best, but does go up in weight because of it. Yeah,
she does. This was a brilliant performance and a great day for Anna Furlong. She has a really strong hand in this. Too Much, I think, is a better horse on better ground, so it was a terrific run, but they got to the right part of the track here and absolutely stormed home. It is a big lift in weight of 3.5 kilos on a track that's going to be challenging, and when we see further down in the weights, If I Did It, that'll make it extremely hard to beat. But you can only win, Leith, and that's exactly what Betty does.
Yeah, look, she's very honest. Obviously, she's probably not really that comfortable on that really heavy track either. Yeah, the jump up to the 58 kilos is going to be a big test for her, but, you know, the fitness on her side backing up from last Saturday is going to help.
She's great, isn't she? She just keeps on putting in super performances. I think the relevant fact the boys have mentioned is they got to the right part of the track, and this will be a part of the track you've got to be in to be very competitive on Saturday. Whereas Riviera Rebel took them about 1,200 metres back to 2,000 metres and sticking to the inside when they're winning down the outside, and you go, pretty damn sharp performance. Always been a good horse, the 4-year-old by Pure Champion. He held really well here. Harlock's come to the outside fence, but he's kept on rolling. 60 kilos, well, it's not really against him because just keeps on carrying weight. I was really impressed with Master Marco. I think he got a bit lost down there by himself a little bit, and I think he will come into this race nicely with the 56.5, but that was some performance. 1,200 metres, 2,000 metres, doesn't bother him. He's a good horse, Riviera Rebel League.
Yeah, he's not very big either, so he's got to carry the full top weight this Saturday. But like those horses running 2,000 metres, it's going to be a good fitness edge for them backing up on a heavy track. Like we thought it was heavy last week, it's going to be totally different this week.
Yeah, it totally is. He's just a good horse, a really good horse, Riviera Rebel. I think weight-wise, it sways me towards If I Did It. I think that from the nice draw, handles Riccarton, handles heavy tracks. I'm not actually sure what's the best condition for this horse, but he's a winner.
Yeah, I'm going down your sort of avenue as well, Greg. I think the claims are going to be a big help in this race. So I'm going for Master Marco. Tony Davies gets the 3 kilos off, gets down to that beautiful weight of 53.5 kilos.
I agree. It's a massive swing in the weights with Master Marco. He's by contributor. He handles off track conditions. He's been very competitive at Riccarton. I think he's really, really tough to beat. Had a pretty good each way quote. Pip.
So there you go, Bevan and Leith liking Master Marco and Greg with If I Did It. As we move now to the sprint race earlier on in the program, the Bush Inn Open Sprint race number 4, where Penvose Lad is the favourite, $2.70 from Buoyant at $4 and Victor Rouge. Well, Greg, you liked Penvose Lad last week. He got the job done over the 1,000 metres down the outside. Do you like him again this week?
Yeah, I do. I know it's a considerably big step up in grade for him, but he drew wide, just stayed out there, and Yogesh Achamar claims the 2 again. He dropped significantly in weight. He's just a good horse. As Matt Cross pointed out earlier in the day, he said, look, this horse's high action is going to be suited to a heavy track, and when I've spoken to Anna Leith about him, she said the wetter the better. Well, he's going to get that on Saturday.
He's going to get it this week. Look, the jockey was soft on him too late. So, look, you really saw him there the last sort of 150 metres. He changed leg and got balanced up. So, look, he wouldn't have taken too much harm out of that run either.
Actually, he's got the best wet track action in the country, and look, there will be further wins in him. And if he can stretch out a little bit, he'll be really competitive in some of those winner handicaps down at Riccarton. I thought it was a superb ride. 2 kilos off, perfect weight. Really hard to beat. Makabar, also a horse with a fair bit of ability, and we take you back to the winning performance at Riverton. This was on a heavy 8. Again, slow away for the Pitmans on this occasion and dived up the inside. You can see the Pitman colours coming through and will pick up the victory, 57.5, so sort of getting up in the weights post this particular win. But look, we'll handle the off ground here. Leithan is the 3-time winner at Riccarton.
Yeah, I actually liked the run of Buoyant in the race. Didn't have any luck down the straight there, and look, Buoyant has won at Riccarton again before, and gets the 2 kilos off his back as well. So I thought he's a great chance this Saturday.
Yeah, he is a good chance, Leith. He's a former Stewards winner, and he's won on a heavy track, and he was unlucky there, so he's a big chance. But I think Penvose Lad is the horse on the rise. He's a smarty, and I think he's a clear top pick for me.
Yeah, I'm on Buoyant. Look, obviously gets down to that beautiful weight, 53.5. Great each way chance, sort of you're getting forwards in $1.55, so loves a heavy track as well.
Penvose Lad, he's a dead set wet tracker, and just watch him fly on Saturday. Look, he does draw inside, so it's going to be a little bit more awkward to get to that outside fence, but if he gets any sort of luck, and I think very, very tough to beat, and another really good play. If you want to find the wet tracker on the program at Riccarton, Penvose Lad is the one.
Yeah, and market showing that as well, Bevans, the guys with him in race number 4. That again completes our look at Riccarton. They get underway nice and early on Saturday too, so make sure you tune in. 11:20 a.m. their first race. racetracker time on the form. These are runners that have caught the eye for various reasons. So, Leith, who's your racetracker for the week?
Yeah, I'm going to take you to last Saturday, the open sprint at Rapa. Lux Libertas, you just see her out there on the black hat getting home late. Look, this is an open 1,200 metre field. The track was rated a soft 5, but they ran a really nice time in the race. There's a race for her next Saturday at Rotorua. The fillies and mares weight for age over 1,400 metres, and if there's a little bit of aqua around from now to next Saturday, I think she'll be awfully close next week, Pip.
I'm taking you back to Wanganui on the last decent track of the season, I think, and a horse called Who Knows, who had a little let-up post-Trentham, so was still at the 1,600 metres. She boomed home late, this horse, and she'll step up over ground. She'll handle off-track conditions. If she doesn't win at 2,000 metres on an off-track next start, I will go he. Who Knows?
I'm pretty keen on O'Riordan. This horse storms down the outside at just its second run for Stephanie Faulkner. Goes to Riccarton on Saturday up to a mile. A lot to like about O'Riordan. She's a mare by Poisea out of Shamrocks, who was very talented. Wet track, dry track, doesn't matter. I think it'll be winning its next start, and that could be this week.
Beautiful. I like a nice early race tracker. I'm going for a long-range race tracker again. Panther sat wide right throughout this 2-year-old colt last Saturday at Te Rapa. He's by Ace High. He still had the best closing sectionals of the race. He's rounded it out really well. Spoke to Andrew Scott yesterday. He's now gone to the Spelling paddock. He'll come back around September. He said watch out for him. A very nice colt. Panther, a one to follow when we see him again. Here is a summary for you. Make sure you note these down. We'll start with Leith, with Lux Libertas, Bevan with Who Knows, O'Riordan for Greg, and I'm with Panther. We have more Kiwis taking on the Australians this weekend, and Stephen Marsh with the South Australian raid here. Let's have a look at the market. You can see Roctave at $20 down the bottom, and other runners in the top there are Kiwi breds as well. As we take you back to Roctave at Ellerslie last time out when finishing third. Of course, Stephen Marsh did finish fourth in the race last time out with Antrim Coast. Bevan, what do you think about Roctave's chances?
He just looks to me like a true blue stayer, this particular horse. I don't think he's quickening up that much, but put up a brave performance, kept on grinding. This is a tough day at the races for many of these horses. They were really plugging on what is generally a really good track there at Ellerslie now, even with the rain. But I thought he was brave. I didn't think he showed a massive turn of foot, and he might just need that on Saturday, Leith.
Look, the 2,500 metres is really going to be good for him. Look, that was Kiwi Skyhawk that won the race, and look, he's made a big improvement from his first up maiden victory at Ellerslie over 2,100 to that. So, look, I've talked to Stephen Marsh this morning. He's really happy how he's going, and look, he's got the right profile for a race like he's going to meet on the field that he's going to meet on Saturday.
Yeah, and he'll be very competitive, and no knock on any of the Marsh runners at the moment. I'm going for one that's still on the ballot. Hope it gets a start. Look down the bottom of the book to Global Eclipse. This one out of the Price Kent Junior barn has Ben Mallam. If you get a chance, go back and have a look at its win. It absolutely dominated them at Cranbourne. If it brings that sort of form to this derby and gets into the field, Leith, on with it.
Yeah, I'm off the Stephen Marsh train running at Roctave. Look, Jordan Child's on, bit of a Kiwi connection there. So, look, I think he's great value at $20 and $5.50 a place. He's bound to get the 2,500 metres as well.
Well, it looks like it'll be a Kiwi train winner, isn't it? With the Browns, with Staturio, Trent Buston and Nat Young have a handful. And I'm going with one of those. I'm going with the Tavachi American Wolf. He's won his last couple. I think he is very, very progressive going into this race. Getting a little bit soft in the market with the Brown runner being at $3.30. But I think American Wolf can go 3 in a row.
Okay, well, that's what they're liking. And the South Australian Derby, good luck to Stephen Marsh and runners there. But we are going to head now to Queensland and have a look here at Eagle Farm. Of course, the Sky Racing Queensland Guineas at Group 2 level, where Shanghai Last Spring is your favourite at $4.60. Tardelli, though, at $18 in the market for Stephen Marsh. Let's have a look at the Group 3 Easter Handicap performance. Bevan, what did you make of this?
I thought he was really excellent. Probably on speed dominated. He made up a lot of ground. I think he's been flying all season. Horse has the right colours on to be winning in Australia as well. Look, he's a horse who's had quite a big preparation, but he doesn't seem to be flinching on his efforts. He's at a good double-figure price in this Lethan. Like, I wouldn't say no. He's got that sort of tough composition to be right in the mix.
Yeah, certainly has. Look, he's travelled over well as well. Look, Michael McNabb retains the ride, so that's a plus. Knows the horse well. Yeah, just a barrier draw, barrier 13, the old Aussies. It always happens to the Kiwis over there.
Yeah, big chance Tardelli in the race, but I'm going to go up the top of the book. Shangri-La Spring, Tim Clark for the Waterhouse Bot team. It's a winner, this horse, won 4 of 7. If it brings its right form to Eagle Farm, it'll be hard to beat, regardless of track condition.
Yeah, I'm going to go the John O'Shea and Tom Charlton trained Interjection. Craig Williams up, ran a really mighty third last start to Sage at Major over 1400, up to a mile, big plus.
Going for one further down the book, Churchill's Choice, who was in great nick early. I thought the fresh up run had so much upside to it. Kobe Jennings is riding for Nathan Dawler. Churchill filly, I think there's a lot of upside for this horse. She's short enough in the market at $5, but that's where I'll have my money come Saturday.
Okay, everybody split in the Queensland Guineas. And don't forget too, in race number 1, if you want to tune in, Andrew does have Croupier going around Mark Duplessis to do the riding in the first race just past 2 o'clock on trackside 1 if you want to watch the Kiwi there as well. Time for our best bets. So Leith, as usual, you're first. Who are you liking?
Yeah, got mine up last week, Pip, so that was a bit of a surprise. But look, I'm going to take you to Otaki on Sunday. Great Escape, trained by Rosie Fell. Sister Kelly takes the ride, Kelly Myers, on Saturday. So could be a family affair. She's due a win. She's had 2 brave seconds last 2 starts. Up to a mile at Otaki, big chance.
Yeah, I think they might just ride Great Escape a little bit quieter in its start at Otaki. My question is, how many horses go around at this meeting because it's pouring with rain? I think trainers are just trying to get one more run in before the wet tracks come. Well, they're here. But this horse, Thrilling, who was 4th in the Oaks, put up this performance at a mile. If it does run, look out, it wins.
Freddie time for me. This is the formula you'll be looking at for Riccarton. Horses that have handled wet tracks. This horse did it at Riverton, trained by Kelvin Tyler. Teddy Latacour claims the 4. That's a pretty good recipe for Freddie time to be the one to beat for me this week.
And I'm jumping across to Caulfield, race number 5. This is Oak Hill for Ben Will and JD Hayes. Absolutely flew home into second last start after being held up. I think he can go one better, and he's around $3.60 in the market in the 5th on the program. Here's a summary for you. Big time Devon for Rozzo will kick us off on Friday night at Hattrick Raceway. Treacherous Baby for the Whale at Addington in race number 9. Freddie time for Greg at Riccarton. Oak Hill for myself at Caulfield. Thrilling for Bevan at Otaki on Sunday, and Leith is playing there as well with Great Escape. And that does complete the form for another week. Stay dry out there, be safe over the weekend. We look forward to some very good racing, and as always, thanks to Greg, Leith and Bevan for hopefully finding us the winners. We'll catch you back next weekend.